What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Media Talks TV with your host, Tony J. Be sure you may hit the subscribe button, click the like, make sure you share this video. So I'm gonna jump right into it. I know it's been a while, so you know, forgive me. I've been working, haven't been posting as frequently as I should, and we may be on a brief sabbatical until I could get through my work. So if you bear with me, I'm going to have some more videos coming up later down the road. But right now, you know, got to focus on some things, got to pay some bills. You know how it is. But I'm on here because I said I would make another video about the Diddy trial and how things went. And of course, he was found not guilty. You all know he was found not guilty on the serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. And at one point, I thought he was going down for the sex trafficking. I really thought he was really a goner because I was like, well, if they can't prove RICO, then they could definitely prove sex trafficking. But it got downgraded to a lesser charge of prostitution. And grateful to us, this man is not going away for the rest of his life. But he could be facing at least 20 years in prison. So I honestly don't know why anybody is celebrating this fact. I mean, he beat the government. That's something to celebrate about. He beat a RICO. He might be one of the first men to actually, well, second to actually beat a RICO charge. But if the racketeering went down, he would have been in jail. We would have been talking about him going to jail for the rest of his life. But I think I learned a lot from this case. And I think you all learned a lot from this case watching it, how it went about. We saw the access, we saw the testimony discuss the access. And even in your mind, well, for you, people were asking the same thing the jurors were asking. Where was the RICO in this case? And a lot of people thought, and I'm especially when I say a lot of people, I'm particularly talking about mainly women because I felt like the women were really emotionally invested in this case a lot more than the men were. And a lot of the women felt as though what Cassie went through was a form of sex trafficking. But the jury had another idea in mind. And the jury made their decision. It took a while, but it felt like while the deliberations were going on, people were just making their assumptions about what would happen if Diddy went to jail for the rest of his life. What impact would it have on his legacy? And most people, we would say, in my opinion, I would say it wouldn't have so much impact on the music as much as it has an impact on who Diddy is. So, from a personal standpoint, because of this guilty verdict, nobody's going to want to work with Diddy anymore. That's done. Case closed. The video came out, it destroyed his social credit, as you might call it, or it's his social capital. When a lot of rich people have a lot of money, they have a lot of friends, they have a lot of connections. Diddy was King Midas. And I said that in previous videos. He was King Midas. Everything he touched turned to gold. Now, with this video of him beating Cassie Ventura, well, this video signals an end of this whole black excellence thing that he always used to purport being. He had a lot going on. He had a reputation, and his reputation was destroyed by his own personal vices, whether it be drugs, sex, multiple women. His vices put an end to an empire that he took almost 33 years to build, you know. And that's sad in of itself because people wanted to be like him. A lot of black boys looked up to Diddy. He was like this superhero. But sometimes when you have the access and the money and the things that most people cannot have access to, if the character just doesn't match up with the amount of access that you have, there's nothing you can do. No amount of money can save you from your bad character. And I feel like we as black folks, we've had to learn this lesson too. We have to learn this lesson that just because you have money don't make you God. And just because you have money does not mean you're exempt from accountability when you do things wrong, when you do bad things. And I think in this case with Diddy, he just did too much. It was too much access or excess, too much of an overindulgence in women and the lifestyle. And then there's also the system itself that protected and enabled Diddy to do the things that he did, that allowed him to be this monster of a person to the people around him. And I guess in some ways, I've learned that money doesn't help you with your character. No matter what good that Diddy has done, no matter what good he's done, still does not erase the fact that that video has him committing domestic violence. Some of the worst, that probably worse than the Ray Rice video, you know. And I don't think he's ever going to be able to recover from it. And I think when he goes to jail, the judge is going to really look at that and weigh that heavily. But the thing that he's going to have to do now is he's going to have to take accountability for what he has done, even if it's not criminal. Even if it's not criminal. And the first thing he has to do is to take responsibility for how he treated Cassie. I've said this in previous videos. The minute he takes responsibility for that and leans into it, people will turn around and maybe forgive him. Some won't, some will, some won't. But just like Chris Brown, just like Ray Rice, they all had to do the work to be forgiven. America loves second chance stories. Ray Rice, it took him almost 10 to 12 years to re rectify his image, even though he will no longer be able to play football anymore. He has done actual good in his community. And he has said in interviews for a long time he wasn't proud of what he did. He was not proud. And you know what? The people forgave him. The people forgave him, and he became an upstanding citizen. He admitted to his mistakes, he admitted to his flaws. And, that 2013 tape was horrible, but he made remedies to his image. And now he works for the Ravens. He still works for the Ravens. Of course, Chris Brown has had chance after chance to rectify his opportunities, and he still has a musical career. So I don't understand why Diddy can't have the same grace that Chris Brown and Ray Rice have had. I don't see how he can't have that same grace. But in order for him to get that grace, he's going to have to sit down and write a heartfelt letter of apology to Cassie Ventura and read it to the court and read it and take responsibility for his actions and tell Cassie that he was sorry. And not like the way that video was, but at the same time really fall on the mercy of the court to make a decision that would actually keep him out of jail for some years. But if he doesn't do that, and if he continues on playing the victim or this God complex that he can't be touched, then the judge at his discretion going to give him the full 20. So I guess at this time, Diddy has some honest decisions and choices to make. He could fall at the mercy of the court or and write a letter of apology to Cassie and Jane Doe. And also, if he goes to jail, focus on writing his memoirs, focus on writing your book. Look for a period of look for a general period of reflection, reflecting on actions. And I think that's what the judge wants to see. Has he totally redeemed himself, or is he going to keep enabling his bad behavior to where he might end up back in this court again with the same type of charges and he may end up going to prison for the rest of his life. And I don't think the judge wants to do that because generally Diddy is a first time offender. But if he keeps on with the behavior, the judge is going to be like, you know, and I think that judge is a no BS type of judge. And he's also Indian. So you got to take that into account. There isn't going to be any leniency, and the prosecutors are going to try and go for the full 20. They're gunning for the full 20. But the defense needs to start shaping his public image in some form of fashion, that his image has to be one of atonement and humbleness and less hubris, and not dancing and singing and talking about call me love and all this bullshit. He has to throw all that out the window because he's not on a moral. He's vindicated from some of the charges, but he's still not on a moral high ground. Let's just all agree with that. So he's going to have to make an honest decision before October, and his legal team is going to have to figure out what his public image is going to be now. Because, even though he's not in jail, he still has a shitload of civil suits waiting for him in the wind. And that's what we're not talking about here. Well, he ain't going to go to jail, but he's probably going to be broke from paying off all those civil suits. And his kids ain't going to have shit to come home to. Because at some point, his lifestyle is going to be his lifestyle is irreparably damaged. So, you know, he's going to have to give up some assets to Cassie, to Jane Doe, and pay them off. And that's exactly what's going to happen. But this has been another Media Talks TV. I'm your host Tony J. Before I get out of here, I want to let y'all know, like I said, we're gonna be taking a little break, and I'm gonna be taking a little break from posting on YouTube for a little while. But you could catch all my stuff over at rumble.com. Um, right now, I'm seeing certain directions where YouTube is kind of shifting to this AI thing, and I'm still coming up with some plans of where to move forward with this channel because, you know, I'm starting to notice how YouTube is really, really changing in terms of their algorithm. And not to say that I'm blaming it, but at the same time, AI is starting to become an issue with social media, and you're seeing a lot of AI videos being propped up on YouTube. So we got a lot of competition. If you're a content creator, you have a lot of competition that you have to deal with in terms of uh, putting up content on social media, especially on YouTube. And me personally, I've been up here for about 5 years posting content, and it just seemed like the needle is not moving forward for me. So I have to start shifting my interests elsewhere. So be sure to stay tuned. Make sure you stay subscribed to this channel. If anything changes, I'll let you know. But I'm Tony J, and I'm out. Peace. See y'all later.